Stay with me till the very end, because what you're about to hear isn't just a set of dates and headlines. It's a human story of craft, courage, and quiet goodbyes. If you grew up laughing at quick comebacks, tapping your foot to choir scenes, or feeling warm every time the church doors opened, this one is for you. I'll start with a clear list so you know exactly who we're honoring, and then we'll go deeper into each life with simple, honest details. Watch all the way through so you don't miss the final tribute and a moment to add your own memory in the comments. Franklin Seals, Lorenzo, the refined choir master, died in 1990 from AIDS at 37. Jester Hairston, Raleigh, the wise church elder and a giant of spiritual music, died in 2000 of natural causes at 98. Raymond St. Jacques, dignified guest star with a trailblazing career, died in 1990 from lymphoma at 59. Whitman Mayo, Swifty here, Grady on Sanford & Son, died in 2001 of a heart attack at 70. Sherman Hemsley, Deacon Ernest Fry, the engine of the show, died in 2012 with complications related to lung cancer at 74. LaWanda Page, the unforgettable Darla here and Aunt Esther elsewhere, died in 2002 from diabetes complications at 81. Elsa Raven, Inga, the housekeeper with dry wit, died in 2020 of natural causes at 91. Rosetta Lenoir, Leola, the gentle heart of a late-life love story, died in 2002 from diabetes complications at 90. Each one left something real behind. Amen wasn't just jokes in a church set. It mixed big laughs with a true sense of community, and it put older black characters front and center with respect and joy. The show gave space for gospel roots, for family rhythms, and for little lessons wrapped inside a punchline. When you watched Deacon Fry spar with friends, or the choir find its harmony, you could feel a neighborhood in every scene. That is why these goodbyes still land hard. You aren't only missing actors, you're missing the spirit they carried into your living room. Franklin Seals came across as calm, exact, and sharp. As Lorenzo, the choir master, he moved like a man who heard the beat in his head before the first note hit the air. He trained at Juilliard, and you could see it. Clean choices, careful timing, and a dry little smile that said he was always 2 steps ahead of the joke. He was also known as Dexter on Silver Spoons, where the same quiet power showed up every week. His passing in 1990 from AIDS at only 37 was a deep loss, not just because he was young, but because he had a precise kind of artistry that television doesn't often catch. Remember him for the way he lifted scenes without raising his voice, and for the way he made music feel like character, not just background. Jester Hairston was history in motion. On Amen, he was Raleigh, the steady elder whose gentle advice often landed harder than any lecture. Off the show, he carried a lifetime of work that shaped how spirituals are sung around the world. He arranged, composed, taught, and kept a whole tradition alive with care. His connection to Amen, the song, sung for lilies of the field, turned into a bridge that many people still walk across when they first learn these sounds. He lived to 98 and died of natural causes in 2000, which feels right somehow, a long life, fully used. When you hear a choir hold a final Amen with warmth and unity, think of him. He taught that sound to generations. Raymond St. Jacques appeared on Amen briefly, but his impact as a pioneer was not small. He showed up on screens when doors were barely open, and he walked through with a straight back and a clear voice. Films like Cotton Comes to Harlem and The Pawnbroker, plus many TV roles, proved he could carry drama, authority, and nuance without losing his center. On Amen, he brought that same weight to a guest turn, just a few scenes, but full of life. He died of lymphoma in 1990 at 59. Think of him as one of the people who made it easier for others to be seen, and to be seen well. Whitman Mayo is a name some people miss, but a face nobody forgets. As Swifty on Amen, he got a chance to play with an old friend from Sanford & Son, and you could feel that spark the moment he walked in. His famous Grady was a soft shuffle of humor and heart, a man who made you chuckle even when nothing much was happening, just because of how he looked at the world. On Amen, he added that same easy warmth to the church community. He died in 2001 of a heart attack at 70. His gift was simple and rare. He made regular life feel funny, and he did it without cruelty. You remember him the way you remember a kind neighbor. Sherman Hemsley as Deacon Ernest Fry was an absolute live wire. He blended bluster and tenderness so well that an entire church could spin around him and it made sense. He always had a plan, always had a reason, and always had a line that snapped a scene back to life. People knew him first as George Jefferson, and you can't talk about TV without him. But Deacon Fry wasn't a repeat. He was a new instrument played by the same musician. More church, more choir, more community, but the same perfect timing. He died in 2012 with complications related to lung cancer at 74. The best way to honor him is to remember the full arc. The attitude, yes, but also the small moments when he showed care without saying much. That was the heart under the show's humor. LaWanda Page could turn a look into a punchline. On Amen, as Darla, a glamorous woman with a firecracker edge, she stepped in for one episode and filled the room. People remember her most as Aunt Esther, the righteous storm who tossed lightning at Fred Sanford. That same force lives here, but in a softer line, a wink, a sly rhythm that shows how wide her range was. She died in 2002 from complications of diabetes at 81. She gave television a masterclass in how to be bold without being mean, how to be funny without letting the joke eat the person. If you ever laughed at a raised eyebrow, you learned it from her. Elsa Raven played Inga, the no-nonsense housekeeper whose quiet comments often landed when chaos needed a break. You might also remember her as the Save the Clock Tower lady in Back to the Future, or as Ida Strauss in Titanic. She brought a full life to small spaces, the skill of a character actor who understands that a single clean moment can be the thing you remember years later. She died in 2020 of natural causes at 91. When you watch her as Inga, you see an anchor, nothing loud, nothing extra, just steady truth. Rosetta Lenoir, as Leola, gave Amen, something most sitcoms never get right, a late-life love that feels real. She built a romance with Raleigh that was tender and believable, the kind that grows from shared values, not just plot turns. Off-screen, she did the hard work of opening doors for others, founding a theater company to push for diversity long before it was a buzzword. She died in 2002 from complications of diabetes at 90. Her legacy lives in every role she filled with dignity and in every young actor who stepped onto a stage because she made space for them. It's important to say this plainly, not every Amen regular has passed on. Many cast members are still with us, still acting, singing, writing, and living their lives. This tribute focuses on those we lost, not to erase the living, but to honor the ones who can't speak for themselves anymore. If you carry a story about someone not listed here, share it in the comments. A good memory is a way to keep a person in the room. When people ask why this show still matters, the answer is simple. It treated elders as full characters, not props. It celebrated faith as community, not as a punchline. It put music at the center, not the edge. And it let a black church be funny, warm, messy, and human without apology. The actors we lost helped make that possible by giving their best on days when they didn't have to. That is a kind of love. As we close, take a breath and think of the moment that lives rent-free in your head. A sly grin from the deacon, a gentle nod from Raleigh, a crisp pause from Lorenzo, a playful spark from Darla, a quiet line from Inga, the soft hand of Leola, or the easy laugh from Swifty. Hold that image for a second. That's the reason we do tributes like this, not to be sad for sadness' sake, but to say thank you for the time and the craft. If this remembrance helped you feel close to the show again, stay to the very last second and tell me which actor's story touched you most and why. Add your favorite line, your favorite scene, or the lesson you still carry. Like this video if you want more tributes that treat people with care, share it with someone who watched Amen with you, and subscribe so you don't miss our next look at the legends who shaped our screens. Your memories keep their work alive, and your voice helps set the tone for a kinder way to remember those we've lost.